Hi there, welcome to the new session. In this session, we discuss about Unit 4. In the last session, we completed Unit 3. We'll start Unit 4. Okay, Unit 4 is Strategy and Structure of International Business. How will be the strategy and how will be the structure of international business that we discuss in this unit. What kind of strategies an international business will follow, what is the organizational structure, what is the organizational design, how to analyze the environment in international business. So all we discuss in this particular unit. Okay, we know what is an international business, what is structure of an organization. A new thing that is added is strategy. Also, we discussed about strategy in previously entering strategies into an international business by domestic business we discussed previously. So just adding all these things, strategy, structure of international business, we discuss those concepts in this unit. Okay, so we all know what is a strategy. Strategy is nothing but an action plan. It is an action plan to implement an idea, or if you say if you are doing something, some kind of work, we'll have a plan. Whenever you are running a business, we'll have plan, right? So planning is one of the management activity. We'll plan. So now once we have planned, we have to implement that plan through a particular strategy or through a particular action. So that implementation action or that action plan is nothing but a strategy. Previously we discussed these many times, right? So now this strategy and structure of international business we are going to discuss now. So just entering into the unit, the first topic that we need to discuss is environmental analysis. Environmental analysis. Previously, we have done environmental analysis of international business. Earlier, we have done, right? So, if you remember in Unit 1, we studied about the cultural factors, social factors, political factors, technological factors, the environmental conditions of an international business. So now that environmental analysis again we are going to discuss here through certain kind of tools. Okay, so now let us see what are the tools that are useful in order to do environmental analysis. Okay, environmental analysis is defined as the process by which strategists monitor the economic, environmental, legal, market, competitive, supplier, technological, geographical, and social settings to determine the opportunities and threats to the firm. Right. So, what are the environments? What are the environments that we are going to monitor? The strategists are going to monitor in international business are economic environment, government, legal, market, competitive, suppliers, technological, geographical, and social. All these things, all these factors, all these environments. So we are going to discuss. Okay, so we are discussing the sense the strategists need to analyze about these things. Why a strategist need to analyze about all these things means, so to understand or to know, uh, 1 minute, 1 second. Okay, to know about mm, its opportunities and threats of a firm. So what are the opportunities that are going to present, or that are going to that are available in future? So, or what are the threats that organization is going to face? So by knowing all these factors, or by analyzing about these factors only, we are able to know what kind of opportunities are there in front of us, and what are the threats that we are going to face in the near future. Suppose if these are the threats that we are going to face in the near future, if we are able to know, so then automatically we'll take certain kind of actions, or we'll take certain kind of strategies to overcome them, right? So opportunities also, if we have opportunities, if we are not prepared for those opportunities, so then obviously your competitors may grab those opportunities. So opportunities will never wait for wait for us if you haven't grabbed them at an right time, right? So knowing those opportunities and threats, so this environmental analysis has to be done. So now how do we do this environmental analysis? What are the tools that present in environmental analysis? Is the first type is PEST. Okay, first tool that is available to do environmental analysis is PEST. 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 PEST stands for P for political, E for economic, S for social, and T for technological. Okay, so initially the strategies used to analyze about the political environment, economic environment, social and technological environments. And later on, what happened? So some other new environments, so new environmental scanning is also needed. So they added and these legal and environmental factors. So in this name pest was changed to pestle analysis. Okay, pestle. So political, economical, social, technological, environmental, at the same time legal. Okay, so all these this has been the pest has been renamed with pestle, and two new environments has been added, and this is very much popular in UK. So this whenever a business was launched and it is seeing for expansion or seeing for sales growth or going for international, so then they'll do this pestle analysis. Nowadays all the companies are also using this pestle analysis. Now let us see what are the political factors, economic factors that influence the business, all other different factors that influence the business. Okay, let us see. The first one is political factors. Political factors, in the political arena, if you see, politics has a huge impact on the business. Many times we discussed, because of the political issues, many companies has been changed from one country to another country or from one location to another location. So how these political factors will have influence on this business, right? So if you see, we have to consider these issues. How stable is the political environment in a particular country? How stable it is? Suppose if it is unstable, if it is changing frequently, you need to follow the norms according to that party again. So if government is not stable, all the rules and regulations won't be stable, right? Taxes won't be stable. All these things, all other contributing factors for this political environment won't be stable. So your business won't be stable. So like how you have to check how much stable is the political environment in a particular country, and will government policy influence the laws that regulate taxes of your business? So you have to check that also. So based upon the government, is the tax rates are depending or tax rates are individually changing? That's what you have to analyze. And what is the government position on marketing ethics? Means what kind of marketing ethics they are following, government, whether the political party or the government in that particular country is following political or marketing ethics, or having policies on its own economy, or having a different kind of culture and regional environment, or is it a member of economic union or NAFTA, Asian, EU, NAFTA, Asian, or any other regional groups? If it is a member of that regional group, what are the objectives of that regional group? Is it following according to that, or is any conditions or restrictions prevailing? Suppose if we enter into that market, all these things has to be analyzed. All these political things, political factors has to be analyzed before if you are entering into an international business, right? How stable is the political environment, how it will influence uh, or how it will regulate your tax structure, and uh, what are the marketing ethics that they follow, government economy policies, the social and regional factors, and the groups regional groups or the trade blocks, the agreements with other countries has to be checked. Otherwise, we may be in a kind of uncertain position. We can't predict the future. So right, whenever we are entering into a particular into international business for a particular country, you have to analyze the political situations of that country. Next, economic factors that you need to concentrate. So marketers need to concentrate more on economy of the country, whether you are going to run a long term business or short term business, any kind of business. But you need to see the economic situation or the economic factors of the country whenever you are doing your international business, right? So what are the things that you need to consider or you need to look is interest rates in that country, or the level of inflation, employees level per capita, inflation level with respect to employment you have to check, and long term prospects for the uh, these prospects like GDP, gross domestic product, your per capita income, so has to be considered. Apart from these factors, certain some important factors like the policies, economic, monetary policy, fiscal policy, exit policy, all these policies also has to be considered whenever you are entering into a country to do international business. That is related to economic factors. Now let us see the social factors. The social factors the social or the cultural factors, so that influence a business, right? So if you observe, the social and cultural factors will be changed. There will be lot of difference from one country to another country. So the social factors of one country is different, cultural factors is different when we compare with when we compare with other countries, right? So it is important for you to know certain things, certain social and cultural factors of a particular country if you wish to enter into that country, right? So the factors that you need to include or you need to look out are the attitude of the people towards the foreign products and services, right? If you see some countries, some people uh, or they may not get attracted with the foreign products. Some country people, they are loyal to their own production, and some country people will show a positive attitude towards a foreign products or services. So that is very important, what attitude they are having, right? So based upon that, you will decide whether to enter into that market or not to enter. So the attitude to foreign products and services, and sometimes the language impacts, right? The language impact, means to sell or to enter into the market, language plays an important role, right? So how does a language will impact your products and services in a market, and what is the role of men and women, and what is the leisure time, or how much is the leisure time for the customers, or how long the population living over there, or how or you can ascertain about these ages, so teenagers or adult or old or young. So based upon their aging, their population living, so you can concentrate on which age group you have to uh, you should keep as your target audience, right, or target market. So based on all these things, uh, you need to decide whether to enter into a particular country or not for your international business. And next factor is technological factor. So technology plays a vital role, uh, and technology can be considered as one of the competitive advantage factor. We can consider technology as a competitive advantage. If you are having sophisticated technology, will have certain advantage when we compare with our competitors. So technology is vital for competitive advantage, and it is major force or a major factor for globalization. And what are the factors that you need to consider uh, in technological environment or technological factors is, so does technology allow for products and services to be made more cheaply and to be better standard of quality? So that you need to check whether technology is allowing your products and services to available or to be made cheaply available about your of your product, or it will increase your quality, that you need to check. Does the technology offer customers and businesses more innovative products? And distribution of the products. And one more thing, the relationships that you are going to maintain with your customers or with your clients, which is nothing but CRM, customer relationship management. So is all these things possible with the technology that we are having, or that the technology that is available in that particular country? So that you need to check. So all these are all the factors that you need to check. You need to do this special analysis whenever you are entering into the business, international business. That is one of the tool. And the second important tool is SWOT analysis. You all know SWOT analysis. So SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. SWOT analysis, usually we also, for ourselves also, will do SWOT analysis. What are our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? At the same time, for an organization also, to enter into an international business, what are the strengths, opportunities, or what are the weaknesses and threats that are uh, that uh, that are existing in a particular country, that we have to check. SWOT analysis help us to get or to provide information that is helpful uh, to match the firm's resources with the capabilities in the competitive environment. Okay, so how do we do this SWOT analysis? So we do this SWOT analysis framework based on the environmental scanning. So we have to scan the environment. So we all know environmental scanning can be done in two types. One is internal in two ways. So one is internal analysis and other one is external analysis. So internal analysis means within the organization, if you are able to scan the environment, so what kind of things available in your organization? Suppose if it is with your technology availability, or with the employees availability, or the policies that is existing in the organization, your vision, mission, or your management skills. So all those things comes under internal environment or internal analysis. You just take external analysis like the political conditions, the legal conditions, or the resources that are available over there. So all these comes under external environment. So if you are able to analyze your internal factors, it is very if you are able to analyze these internal factors, you are going to get what are your strengths and weaknesses first of all. So internal analysis will help you to find out your strengths and weaknesses. By doing external analysis, you are able to find out you are able to find out the opportunities and threats, right? So what are the opportunities and threats that are prevailing in the external markets, means external environment. So if you external environment is nothing but beyond the organization, beyond the boundaries of the organization, what are the things, or what are the opportunities, or what are the threats that you are going to face in the near future, we are able to know by doing external analysis. By doing internal analysis, what you are going to know, you are going to know about your strengths and weaknesses. Suppose if you are analyzing about your management skills in the organization, suppose you are having more managerial skills like planning, organizing, directing, controlling, staffing, or communication, all these things, if you are strong enough in that, so that would comes in your strengths. Weaknesses, suppose if you are if there is certain disputes, if there are some disputes between the employees, or some quarrels between the workers, or some quarrels between the workers and the management, so then that would comes under your weaknesses, right? So once if you find about your weakness, you will take steps in order to minimize that weakness. Once if you find what is your weakness, you will take steps, or you will take necessary actions to overcome that. So in the example what I said, the disputes or the quarrels between the management and the employees, how to solve that? Suppose if the dispute is related to uh, payment, means the wages or the salaries that is paying to the employees and the workers, so then how to solve that? So whether to have a meeting between the management and unions of the workers or the employees, so to have uh, smooth talk between the both the parties and to resolve it smoothly. So once if you are able to resolve it smoothly, so that that weakness we can overcome, and that can be converted into strength. So if you are able to know what is your strength and what is your weakness, based on that only you can take necessary steps or necessary actions. right? If your strength is your managerial skills, so then based on that you are by using that strength you can grab certain kind of opportunities, or by using that strengths you can overcome certain threats that are going to occur in the future. So by ascertaining only we can know your strengths and weaknesses, and based on that only you can take necessary steps whether to enter into a particular business or not, or particular country or not. So that is nothing but the SWOT analysis. So these two are the major tools that we use in order to scan environment, right? So scanning environment can be done through pestle analysis, which is nothing but political, economical, social, technological, legal, all these environments. And then SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So all these are the tools that is used for you to analyze about the future, analyze about the environment. So based on that you can take your decisions. Now coming to the next concept, that is value chain analysis, VCA, value chain analysis. See, this value chain analysis, so I think you come across in first semester, also in second semester, third, fourth. So wherever you go, this value analysis will follow you. Value chain analysis. So the thing you need to remember is this value chain analysis is proposed by Porter, right? Based upon the generic values, generic chain value. So first of all, before going to that Porter's value chain analysis, let us know what is a value chain. Value chain analysis is nothing but it is a process to identify the primary and supportive activities in the business, right? Identifying your primary activities and supporting activities which helps the supporting activities are nothing but which helps you to carry your primary activities. Okay, so identify the primary and supportive activities, primary and supportive activities that add value to the final product. Okay, by minimizing the cost and increase differentiation. So that is nothing but value chain analysis. So value chain represents the internal activities a firm engages in while when transforming inputs into outputs. Okay, so Michael Porter introduced this model in 1985, and it consists of internal factors and the internal factors or internal activities a firm engages to produce goods and services. And it has this final these primary activities will have direct contact with the supporting activities. I already told you supporting activities are nothing but which makes you to carry the primary activities. So primary activities add value to the production process. They are not necessarily more important than the supportive activities. So nowadays competitive advantages mainly derives these technological improvements or innovations or R&D. So all these things. So in order to make sure of your competitive advantage, you have to concentrate on all these factors like technology or innovation or research and development, all these things. Okay, so now let us see what is this value chain analysis, how it is described. All right, so it is explained in two ways, one with primary activities and other with supportive activities. So what are primary activities here? Inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, services. So these five are considered as so primary activities. Inbound logistics. Inbound logistics means, what is logistics? Logistics means getting something, take an example. If you are bringing or if you are procuring raw material, if you are bringing raw material from your supplier to the organization, that would comes under inbound logistics. When you are bringing something into the organization, that comes under inbound logistics. So by doing certain operations, which is nothing but here operations means converting inputs into outputs by using certain mechanism, which is nothing but production. Operations we do, production we do. So once if the goods are produced, we'll take it to, we'll make that goods from we'll just transfer that goods from the organization to certain warehouse or to the distributors or to the outlets, right? So that is nothing but outbound logistics. Suppose if you are taking the goods out of the organization, that comes under outbound logistics. If you are getting into the organization, it is inbound logistics. If you are taking it out of the organization, then that would be called as outbound logistics. And in between we'll have operations. So once if the goods are transferred to various outlets, then marketing, you have to concentrate on marketing and sales. You have to market your product and you have to increase your sales. And finally, once if your product was sale, so then you have to provide service to the customers. After sale service you have to provide. Suppose if any defects are there, or if they have any doubts regarding usage of the product, so you have to provide service, which is nothing but customer service. Okay, so these are all the primary activities: inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, and service. And now coming to supportive activities. Supporting activities are nothing but which makes these activities will make to carry out these primary activities. Now let us see what are these supporting activities. Supporting activities are firm's infrastructure, human resource management, technology development, and procurement. So these are the factors. These are the supportive factor. Infrastructure means the equipment that is available over there in the organization, or the place that is available, all the things. And human resource management, HRM, employees are always resources to the organization. So the skills of the employees, or the relations of the employees, how they are doing, how they are working, their qualities, their qualifications, or the training that we provide to them in order to carry out the work. So all these things comes under human resource management. Technological development. So if we are able to develop technologically, then only we are able to do all these activities in a proper manner. So technological development. And procurement is nothing but getting all these things, procuring. So either it can be procuring the raw material, or it can be procuring the employees. So procurement is nothing but gathering all these things, gathering the information. So all these four comes under supporting activities. So these supporting activities will help you to complete your primary activities. It is value chain analysis. Hope you understand this value chain analysis. So for you to you need to remember these primary activities and supporting activities, and which uh, combinedly or jointly will give you value to the organization. Okay, so I think these are all the concepts. These are the concepts that we covered today. Environmental analysis with PESTEL and SWOT analysis, and value chain analysis. In the next session we discuss some other new things. Okay, so now I'll stop my session here. Thank you.